Hello folks, hope you're well. Welcome to another Cheap versus Steep. Today we're putting Lidl's cheapest own brand products
against a deluxe or branded version to see if paying more is really worth it.
We're doing 3 courses and then there's a quirky drink at the end. The drink at the end,
I'm looking forward to the drink at the end.
I've done all my geeky calculations which will blow your mind today. We're going to start off with prawn cocktail, right?
We are.
So let's start off with mayonnaise. This is the budget version of, actually went for light mayonnaise, Mrs. B, didn't we?
I did.
500 mils of the basic is 95 pence.
They didn't have a deluxe version of the mayo, but they had this brand, Hellmann's, and that was £2.75 for 580 mils.
So this is 2.5 times more if you had the same amount. Our attempt to make a very bodged Thousand Island dressing with the mayo also involves a little bit of ketchup. So the cheap one there, that was the same brand, I think Batts, 650 grams for £1.05. But the branded one, a very well-known brand there, slightly larger bottle is £3.99.
Ooh.
So if you made that 800 grams, the price of that would be £3.24 versus £1.05.
Oh, wow.
Or 3 times the price.
Wow.
That's the difference. That's crazy,
That
right?
is mad. And branded sauces are known to be a lot more, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I do prefer it.
Yeah, me too. You can always tell when it's cheap ketchup. You and the kids are like, oh, what is this?
We only need a blob of it as well. All right, I got the cheap.
I got the steep. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yours.
Mine's coming out good. Look at that. Like, mine's come out really smooth, and you've got like a slightly more yellowy hue to it.
Yeah, yours looks white.
Yeah, it does. It looks like PVA glue. I'm going to aim for a little bit of ketchup in the middle, and I completely missed it. Oh, look at that. Oh, yours looks well smoother.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is like lumpy.
Yeah.
It looks like it's curdled.
Hopefully, though, this should give us our dressing. And you can see yours is slightly different, isn't it?
It is.
Now, I did say that was a very bodged one. We could have added like things like paprika or lemons in with that, but we were looking around Lidl and it was literally like, no, these are lemons and this is paprika.
Yeah.
We didn't have an alternative, so instead we omitted it. It saved a bit of money. I mean, that is the ultimate cheap versus steep. Just don't buy anything.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just don't go shopping. You'll be all right. Glass of water. A prawn cocktail needs prawns. This is the budget version. It's from Lighthouse Bay, ready-to-eat cold water prawns, cooked and peeled, responsibly sourced. 150 grams for £1.99.
I have a deluxe version, also responsibly sourced. Oh, so they're the same weight.
Yeah, and they were £2.99. So because they're the same weight, it's literally, they're £1 more.
These are jumbo.
Yeah, if you look at them, there is actually quite the difference there.
Oh, yours look like the little ones you get in Jacket Potatoes.
Like in a cafe. That actually looks more like paint.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. You can't see enough prawns in there, can you?
No.
It's all right, we can fish these out. No pun intended. All right, last ingredient is lettuce. There wasn't really a deluxe lettuce, was there?
No.
They did have this one that had like a soil ball on it, but this is quite an interesting one, all right? So we've got this packet of washed and ready to eat lettuce, you know, that kind of like standard stuff that you get that does seem to like brown around the edges almost to me. Do you get that?
Yeah, it doesn't last very long.
200 grams for 65p.
And then we got some sweet gem lettuce for the expensive version.
Well, they are 89p, and they don't, this is the crazy thing. It's got like the biggest barcode on the world on it. Look at that. But it's one of the first things I've ever bought, and I thought this was a legal requirement. There isn't actually a weight on it. So Mrs. B weighed it earlier, and it was 300 grams.
Yeah.
So this is the really interesting thing. 300 grams,
Yes.
200 grams.
Okay.
If you had 200 grams equivalent of that, the more expensive would be cheaper. That's one of the first times ever.
Oh, wow. So we got it the wrong way around then?
So this is 65p. If you
Yeah.
had 200 grams of that, it would be 60p. So
Ah,
like
okay.
you're saving 5p.
But actually, normally bagged lettuce is more expensive than like your...
Yeah, I don't really ever look at it. I don't tend to buy that. So I tend to like these ones. And also, I don't know the official term of the sweet gem lettuce, but you've got a bit of stump there as well, aren't you? You've got 2 stumps.
Yeah.
But I just think this looks nicer. And like I say, I think it's a visual thing for me. Like, this is great. You can just pour it straight in.
Yeah.
But I can already see there's always some brown edges on it. So it's like...
All the bags had loads of brown bits on.
Yeah.
To dig deep.
There were some yellow sticker ones as well. We could have got even cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a bad idea for a follow-up, actually.
What, yellow sticker?
Yellow sticker special. You just don't know what you're going to get. That does look so much more fresh.
It's nice.
And vibrant. Actually, let me just pour this out. Look, there you go. That does look like the cheap version now. Look. The difference in colour.
Yeah, that does look cheap.
I don't know. You get that in like fast food burgers, don't you? But maybe that is...
The key there, fast food burgers.
Set myself up for that one, didn't I? So how are we going to do it, Mrs. B? I'm going to follow your lead.
Okay, so I think we put a little bit of lettuce in the bottom.
Yeah.
And then just spoon your prawns and sauce on top.
Oh, so we're not like mixing it all in and stirring it in there? Just literally lettuce and then prawns?
Yeah.
Yours looks like paint, genuinely. Ooh. Yeah, the portion sizes we made were actually enough to make about like 10 prawn cocktails. Look how thick that's holding it.
I know.
It's almost got like stiff peaks, like you've whipped meringue or something. Like this just wants to drape. We're actually filming this video on Valentine's Day. This isn't your Valentine's Day dinner. I bought you a Toblerone.
Thank you.
Would you like to share a cheap prawn cocktail with me first of all to set the standard?
Okay.
Texture is crunchy.
Crunchy lettuce.
Visually it looks alright.
It does.
Can't actually get any lettuce, there we go.
Okay. That's actually really nice.
Isn't it? I was trying to find something wrong with that. I'm like, it's got a real nice tang to it. The prawns are fine.
They're fine. They're a little bit, like...
A bit rubbery?
Yeah. But I'd still pay to eat that. The sauce is nice.
It's nice, isn't it?
It doesn't taste like, you know, when you get the cheap ketchup or mayo. It doesn't taste like that.
No, even though they both are merged together.
But it's the more expensive one, better value.
Oh, aka the point of this video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Prawns are the jumbo prawns are so good, aren't they? It feels like it's actually a prawn, whereas they're like more like, I don't know, bits of tuna.
I prefer the sauce in the cheap.
Why do you prefer the sauce?
It hasn't got that tang. Maybe we didn't put enough ketchup in this.
No, I think your ketchup, like when we were stirring it, like the specks were in that.
Yeah.
Like this didn't have that.
No, this is smoother.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you like a tangy one, that's absolutely fine, isn't it?
I think you could just swap the prawns.
Yeah.
And then that would be fine.
It's like a pound difference.
Yeah.
Same amount in weight.
But actually you get more value with the lettuce with the more expensive one.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that lettuce. That has more crunch to it, definitely more crisp. That just kind of feels like it wants to adhere and be a part of it. This is kind of like selfish lettuce.
But that's just the type of lettuce it is.
What a start.
I don't like those prawns.
It's like just says, because they're so small, when you have a jacket potato or something, it's not that bad, but
No.
when you compare it to a jumbo one like that, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Our main course is that classic steak, chips and peas with no sauce.
There's a story behind that.
There is a brilliant story. Well, basically, they only had one version, so that was it. But let's give peas a chance.
Let's.
Budget peas, 99p for 900 grams of gorgeous garden spheres.
And the branded version.
Oh, is that from Bird's Eye?
Yes, because they did not have a deluxe garden peas.
They had petit pois.
Yes.
And again, I was about to get them and you were like, £2.49 for 800 grams. So 100 grams less. So to bring it up to the 900, the £2.49 becomes £2.80, which basically means those peas are 2.8 times more.
Oh, okay. Surely peas are peas.
Well, nearly 3 times more. That's quite a difference. But I don't know. There's some peas that I mean, these look okay, but you can get this real, like, you know, like fish and chip shop mushy peas. Some people either love or hate them in the UK. It's just a bit like, yeah, like dull and like, doesn't even taste like a pea. There's no sweetness. It's like a meh.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for the cheap peas to be, oh, they look round, they look green.
Oh, these look smaller.
They do, don't they? But they look very similar because they're both round and green. All right.
Mine have got more smaller ones than yours. Yours all seem a consistent size.
Yeah. Like, is that kind of less quality control there or more because they want like younger peas perhaps? And they both come from Ireland, by the way. That's the only other thing we could really get. So maybe whether it is Bird's Eye repackaging their bigger peas from the same place.
Gosh, do you think someone's going along the line going, too big, too big, too big, like just taking peas out?
You're taking the peas now.
What a job.
I got that. I think just so turn off. What a job. What do you do for a living? On the drop down for like your insurance? It was, yeah. I work in IT, I'm a doctor, I'm a pea picker.
Someone might actually have that job. We shouldn't
I think the factory does it. I would imagine. There could be a quality control.
AI does it.
Oh, you can tell the difference in these. God, they're stuck together. Yours aren't. Look at this. Gosh. Cheap chips, £1.59 for a kilo. Steeper chips, £2.99 for 1.5 kilos. So if we took the more expensive down to 1 kilos, you would actually pay £1.99 for those versus £1.59. So 1.3 times difference, or roughly about 40p between the two, okay?
Oh.
So not too bad.
I was going to say, is that it? I would happily pay 40p more for better quality chips.
Potato chips in seasoned coating, pre-fried in sunflower oil. Ah. It doesn't actually tell you what potato it is. That's one downside. Potato.
So these are the deluxe chunky oven chips made with Maris Piper potatoes.
Maris Pipers. Okay. Nice.
Yes, and it says for chips that are golden and crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside.
That's what you want in your chips.
Yes.
Oh, these are from Ireland.
These are from Belgium.
Belgium?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it says they've got potatoes and breadcrumbs in them. Oh.
So actually, out of everything, these should take the longest to cook. The peas we're just going to bung in the microwave, so we'll get these in the oven now. Look how clean that oven is, Mrs. B.
Oh, I was just... All right.
It's mine.
I have noticed you're a lot more careful with things out here than you are tidier than you are in our kitchen.
So, is there a story? Is it me, or...?
Well, now you're making me feel like it's me.
All right, the stakes are high. These are the cheap and steep Lidl steaks. This one is a sirloin steak, 21 day. It's actually slightly lighter in weight. Hopefully you can see the difference there. Although that one to me looks slightly more vibrant. That was £3.89. It's 195 grams, and it came in this, well, fairly basic packaging.
And this is the deluxe version, dry-aged bone-in steak.
So it's actually got bone in it.
Yeah, apparently dry-aged on the bone for 14 days and then further matured to 21 days.
So they're both 21-day steaks. This one was £6.48 for 270 grams. So if you're purely doing it off weight, bearing in mind there's the bone in there, that would actually make that steak £4.68, which would be 1.2 times more, or literally 80p. So the difference between the two. But there's actually quite a lot of fat on that, isn't there? And the bone.
There is.
So when you just look at what you're getting there, I don't know. According to many chefs and steak enthusiasts, a bone-in steak is generally considered better because the bone helps retain moisture and can add flavour to the meat as the marrow seeps out during cooking, resulting in a juicier and more flavourful steak.
Oh, okay. I'm hoping then that these are going to taste really different.
So Mrs. B's just getting the pans ready. And to be fair to the steaks, I'm going to put salt and pepper on both of them. It's going to be really interesting, this. Cooking the steaks up to our preference, which for Mrs. B is typically, well...
I like it.
Incinerated.
I like it not blood pouring out of it.
Very, very well done.
Just well done.
Just extremely well done.
Just done.
Just turn the steak over, and it's really interesting because the bone on the expensive one has actually lifted it up, so it's not charring the side. Hopefully the other side will be better. That is the cheap. Whoa. And you could definitely see where the bone, where it rose up, it wasn't doing the other side too well, but it's really done that side lovely. We need to rest this for about 10 minutes now. Actually, to me, that still looks better. That looks like a pork chop. The steaks are just resting. We'll come back to those in a minute. The chips have come out looking all right. The peas.
We're cooking them in the microwave.
We're giving them a chance. That, in fact, is the recommended way to cook peas on the packaging. Like, genuinely, how awesome is that? So they're doing that. We've got to make sure which one's left or right. The bigger ones are cheap.
Hang on.
I know what you're going to say. It spins around.
I just looked, I was like, yeah.
Oh, no. Well, one of those, it's the bigger ones. We know that. Right, where's the tape measure? We're fairly confident these are the ones. Down they go. I feel like a little bit of cheap and steep ketchup might be needed, but I guess we should do it just as it is, right?
The peas don't look that much different now they're on the plate.
They don't, do they? But when they were in isolation like that, the colour was crazy. Peas first?
Peas first. Oh.
Nice and sweet. They're not like those horrible peas I was worried about.
They taste really nice.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a high
Okay.
standard. But these do look more vibrant. Oh my gosh, I can scoop all right. It's just that the shake's here. I want to say they're either the same or I prefer these.
I was just thinking they taste exactly the same.
They do, don't they?
But I think these might be a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, they're sweeter, but very similar.
They are pretty much the same. There's no way I would pay whatever it was for those, nearly £3. Yeah.
£1.81 more for the same amount if you had that, or 2.8 times the price. What?
And they taste exactly the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a first? Alright, like cheap versus steep and they taste the same?
I think it could be, you know. Yeah, I mean, the only thing close to that is if we've done spices, but paprika and cinnamon and stuff is just...
Well, they're two different spices, so they are going to be different.
Cheers. Thanks for the clarification, mate. Thanks.
That's what you've been going
No wonder my
wrong.
rice pudding has gone wrong. Okay, 40p more, the steep chips. Ooh, they're a bit...
They got school dinner vibes going on.
I was going to say, like, cafe vibes. But for 40p more, these, is it Belgian?
Oh.
Fluffy. They're crispy, fluffy. And you know what potato it is. That's the worrying thing with these. It was just like, potato.
Can you taste the breadcrumbs?
Do you know what I think?
Oh, I got two.
There is that, the coating is crispy. I don't want another one, but I think that could be playing a part in that there. I don't know whether it's a thing to adhere the coating on or something, but they're way better. And for only 40p more. So at the moment...
These are much better.
Steep chips,
Yum.
cheap peas, steak. It's quite tough actually to pick up. Oh, that is way more tender than I thought. Still a little tough. The seasoning has worked well.
I like that. It's just steak.
Remember, taking into account the weight, this was actually only £1.30 more. But if we did take into account the bone, which might make a massive difference, it is about a £3 difference. So let's see what the steep steak is like. Again, a little tough to put your fork into, but then when I bit into it, it was actually all right.
Oh, softer, tender.
It is definitely juicier. If that's the difference the bone made.
That's good. Although...
The seasoning is still the dominant thing.
Yeah. Although there's not a massive difference.
No. Perhaps maybe not a £3 difference.
No, but this is good. This is a nice steak.
I think you would probably take, if you had to absolutely choose, I would go for the steep. But that's won like loads of awards. I'm like, oh,
I think it needs peppercorn sauce.
that was 50p. Wasn't it? That was generic 50p. And we were going to drizzle it on, but it would have masked everything about it. So
I do prefer the steak.
Okay.
Steep steak and chips and cheap peas.
Nice. Right. Time for dessert.
Yum. Now I think this is a really good one because we're using the cheap.
Yeah.
Both of the cheap brands.
Cheap.
And then both the deluxe version of the custard and pudding.
You get individual sticky toffee puddings at 110 grams each. So two of those, 220 grams, £1.99. So a portion about 100 grams. The steep, £2.89, but you get 450 grams there. But this is interesting again. If you rounded it down, because it must be like the less packaging or something like that, if you had 220 grams of this rather than the 450, this would actually cost £1.41 versus £1.99. So again, another cheap one like the lettuce, but this would be 30% cheaper. So it must be all the separate packaging that makes that go up in cost.
Although I did look, and 1/4 of this, so one portion.
So one portion, yeah.
Is 50% of your daily allowance for saturates.
I think we were nearly over that from those peas.
From those peas?
So that's the sticky toffee puddings. Custard, food, glorious food. Cheap little custard. Mrs. Barry's got the deluxe. It comes in a plastic tub. Mine's a cardboard square. Oh, sorry. 500 grams, 69p. 500 grams, £1.99. Easy calculation that. 2.9 times more. Like, is that just like congealed butter from the toffee sauce?
I reckon so.
So have we got the equivalent in this? Oh. That wants to just come off. Look at that. Oh, wow. That's looking way better at the minute. Smells amazing in here. Oh, look. Oh, that is cheeky.
That smells very buttery.
I think like seeing it before with the butter on there like has kind of put me off a little bit. Oh,
nice.
Food, glorious food. My custard is yellow. Your custard is white.
Yep.
That'll be the vanilla bits.
Yours is school dinner custard. No, yours does look like proper custard though.
That's nostalgia there, isn't it?
When you have custard, that's what you want it to look like.
Yeah, yours looks more like just cream. Remember, that's 3 times more in price.
Are you going with custard or without?
Without first. Oh my word.
Ooh.
Oh, that's just sugar, isn't it? It's a little gritty. Do you know what I mean? It's a little gritty. It's a little powdery or something.
Yeah, I do love custard.
Oh, it's proper mellow, isn't it? It's all right. It's not much to it. But that is literally school dinner custard, isn't it? Like you say. Does the job, though.
Oh, I went to eat more and I was like, no, I've got to try this one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's nice.
Oh, crikey.
Oh, look at this. This looks luxurious. See? It's softer,
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
is very tender, isn't it? Oh, wow. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, that's good. That'll be the butter. I'm convinced that was just a solidified block of butter sat on the top of that.
Oh, wow. That's so rich.
Isn't it? And the sugars are really good. It's like it could be like a muscovado or something. It seems really nice.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not gritty. It's spongy and delicate. And maybe the cream now.
Custard? That looks like cream.
Oh yeah, it just looks like cream.
Hang on. Sorry. Excuse me.
That tastes like cream.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally cream. It's nice.
Oh.
It's ice creamy. But
I don't like that.
No?
No.
You're missing that. So the ultimate for you would be
Oh, no. That's too, like...
this.
Oh, yes. Good idea.
Good idea. I'm starving.
I've not eaten anything all day.
Oh. Mate, that's amazing. The pudding alone is sensational.
I'm sorry, I can't take all the credit.
Oh,
I think Lidl needs some credit.
It's like when you buy an emergency birthday cake from the supermarket and like, oh, did you bake this yourself? Yes. You just eat away, mate, because I'm remembering what you said about the daily allowance for it.
Oh.
No, but that's the thing. It's so good. You could just inhale that.
Yeah, but you can taste why. It's like 2-3 mouthfuls.
Oh.
And it's quite...
And then you want another one.
Then you've had enough. No, it's really, really rich.
Oh, I like the cream.
Like it.
I like the cream with it because
you are a cream...
Yeah,
You like
cream over custard.
I don't like cream.
I'm cream over custard any day.
No, see, I'm the opposite. That's why you like that so much.
Saying stuff like this creates a debate. Are you team cream or team custard?
Oh, I feel a bit sick now.
It is. It's a bit headachy.
I'm just going to eat a bit more. Yeah. It is. It's all that sugar.
Oh no, to be fair, we have actually got quite a bit left.
Did I cut a quarter
That was
out?
that's quite good. And we are sharing it and there's about half left. So
It's one of those things where you know you shouldn't eat anymore, but you just can't help yourself.
nice. Cool. Well, there is nothing better to wash down 3 courses than a nice little sophisticated adult drink. How about your favourite drink, Mrs. B?
Rosé?
Oh yeah, brilliant. Thank goodness. Rosé. That in the background is Mrs. B removing the cork from a bottle of rosé. That's the steep rosé. This is the cheap, which actually just has a standard screw cap on it. 5% alcoholic volume, British wine made with imported grape juice.
Nice. I didn't realise the colour difference in the shop.
Really?
Yeah.
That was what really stood out for me. I was like, how the heck is that bottle, and they're both 750 millilitres, £2.99?
So this is a rosé from France.
Cotes de Provence or something.
Yep. It says it's a dry wine. So this is more, I think, a middle...
I think that's just sugar. That sticky toffee pudding in a glass, that's what I reckon. $7.99 for that. 2.7 times more for the price. But to be honest, in isolation, that looks like rosé.
Yeah, this one looks like wine.
It really does, doesn't it? This does look like some sort of blackcurrant cordial or something, or like something we'd give the kids. And 5% alcohol, maybe it is. Is that stronger?
Yeah, this is wine. That's 5%. This is 12.5%.
Okay.
So
I see where we're going.
So this is probably going to even smell a lot stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that smells like... I mean, I don't really like rosé. Okay.
Yeah, that
It's
just
like-
smells like fruity sweetness.
Semi-skimmed wine in a way. Should we try the better one first for a change?
Yeah.
Steady now.
Okay.
Well, it's not up to my usual standard.
No. It's no, I can't say a brand, can I?
Yeah?
It's no Kylie Minogue wine. I like the
Kylie
Kylie
Minogue?
Minogue. Yeah.
You should be so... No, I'm not going to say it. Is that... She got her own wine, has she?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. That's okay.
Yeah. It's rosé, I mean... Go on, Mrs. B. This is more your street.
That is horrible.
Ooh, crikey. You wouldn't even want to cook with that.
It tastes like cherryade.
It does.
Flat cherryade. I hate cherry. Anything with cherry in it. Oh, I can't stand cherry.
That's the sort of alcohol that allegedly people that were around about Mrs. B's age when we were like probably in the latter years of secondary school might have gone and tried to get some sort of wine or White Lightning or Diamond White. That's like, I got some wine, it's really cheap, we'll get this. Oh, I'm so drunk on it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I ran around naked in the park. It's so, but allegedly, that was...
I was not doing that.
I mean... It's like the weakest form of wine ever, isn't it?
That is not nice. And even that, I'm not keen on, but I would choose that over.
It's like you could drink that and put it in like a Lucozade or Gatorade bottle or whatever and be like, that's a sports drink. It's got that kind of...
Don't go and do that.
No.
Yeah,
But do you know that... I'm sorry to make you taste it again, but just drink it with that mindset that you've just drunk one of those like energy sports drinks that aren't fully sugared, but they're like... There's like a flavour to it. Do you know what I mean? Imagine that's like a bottle of Gatorade or something.
Yeah, without the like tangy.
Yeah, there's no spark, there's no sweetness, there's no alcohol. Yeah, there's no...
No spark in my wine.
Whereas this... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not keen on either.
Really? Good old Kylie, eh? He does wine. Amazing. Well, Jason Donovan does kebabs, doesn't he? Jason's Donovan.
Does he?
Yeah, that guy's in Bristol. He does a mobile...
Oh, okay.
Before you go, some grand totals. The entire shop for the cheap... This is... Mrs. B and I actually queued up separately behind each other. You get your receipt, I'll get mine. £16.78 for that shop.
Okay.
For the steep side of it, £35.45.
Oh, wow. So it was still
£18.67 more, so double, yeah, 2.1 times more. If we did the adjusted measures where we've said how like you get a certain weight more, if it was just about the weights, so that's a difference of £13.28, so still 1.6 times more. But the really interesting thing on the rosé thing, if we take that out, because it was quite a big difference there, the shop then drops down for the steep to £22 versus £13.79, which is only 1.5 times more.
Okay.
So that, obviously that was quite a big difference in that shop. Some of the other things that we've swapped with, like the chips and things, but other things we liked instead, like it kind of balances out.
I think I like more of the steeper options than I did the cheaper versions.
I think like it's easy when you have it side by side, but I think maybe gradually if it's somewhere that you regularly shop, and if you like this, we could do other supermarkets, like the basic range in like the more expensive supermarkets.
Yeah.
But like you could just find the one that you like. Like this was very obvious side by side, but maybe in isolation, The fizzy prawn cocktails, the cheap stuff brought that to life, really?
Yeah. I think I like the cheaper sauces, so the ketchup, mayo and custard, and then everything else on the more expensive side.
And it's interesting how we probably could have masked the steak with the cheap ketchup and mayo, and it's just really that base ingredient, like you say. So it seemed to be like those main ingredients were the ones to really probably push the boat out on. Apart from the chips, they were terrible.
Yeah.
They were like really weird.
Cheap chips, not nice.
Thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the cheap versus steep videos if you wish, and of course all the other videos on the channel. Over like 1,500 now, I think. Remember to subscribe if you wish for regular videos, food fun, and also now live streams, which I'm having a lot of fun doing. Maybe Mrs. B will attend one soon.
Maybe.
It's got a bit of stage fright about it. You'll be fine. Cheers for watching. Love to know your thoughts below. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you soon. Any final words?
No.
No. Just that sticky toffee pudding. I need to hide that from Mrs. B right now.
Yes, you do.
It was so good, wasn't it?
I don't want to eat any more of that.